Smoke curled through the ruins like ghostly fingers. The wind howled across the dead colony, carrying the scent of burnt metal, ash, and death. Fire still flickered here and there, licking broken walls. It was quiet, too quiet. David stepped over a collapsed beam, his boots crunching on charred dust. His thermal scanner beeped. One life sign eased wing, near collapsed storage bay. His cum crackled. "Copy," he replied, eyes narrowing. He moved fast, scanning the shadows. The buildings had been beautiful, once white stone, curved glass. Peaceful gardens. Now, nothing but rubble. His light swept across a broken corridor. That's when he saw her. Curled behind a fallen pillar, wrapped in a torn thermal blanket, was a young alien girl. Not a child maybe, early 20s in human years, but still so small, so fragile, she looked barely alive. Her gray-purple skin was bruised and burned, her silver eyes dull but alert. David approached slowly, lowering his weapon and removing his helmet. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm here to help." The girl's gaze sharpened. Her lips curled back in a snarl. "Don't touch me," she hissed. He stopped. "Hands up, Hazy, you're injured." She pushed herself up with a groan. Her knees shook. "I don't want your help, human." David blinked. "You'll die out here." "Better that," she spat, "than owe you anything." He stepped back, confused, hurt. "I'm not your enemy." She turned her back and limped away into the wreckage, disappearing into shadows. David sighed. "Stubborn," he muttered. "Just like us." He tapped his cum. "Life sign refuses evac. Going to monitor nearby in case she changes her mind." Later, that night, the ground began to tremble. The warning lights in his HUD blinked red danger. Gas buildup underground was unstable. The entire sector could ignite. David ran toward her last known location, heart pounding. "Kara," he shouted. He didn't even know her name, but it felt right. The wind was hotter now. The air stung. A soft boom echoed, followed by fire bursting from a cracked pipe. Flames erupted, roaring across the ruins like a beast, finally. Unleashed, he saw Hurt between two collapsed beams. Eyes wide, the fire growing behind her. She tried to climb over, but her leg gave out. She fell hard and screamed, "Help!" Her voice cracked with fear. David didn't hesitate. He charged through smoke and flame, pulling debris aside. She was coughing, shaking, too weak to stand. "No lectures this time," he said, as he crouched in front of her. "Get on." She stared at him, stunned. Then, without another word, she jumped onto his back and clung to him like a frightened child. Her arms locked around his neck. Her cheek pressed against his shoulder. David rose and ran. Flames chased them, licking their heels. Explosions cracked. In the distance, as more gas pockets burst, he held her tightly, feeling her tremble, feeling her breath against his neck. She didn't speak, just held on. By the time they reached the evac zone, the fire had already devoured most of the colony. A rescue shuttle hovered nearby. Medics ran toward them. "She's hurt," David shouted, lowering to his knees. The medics took her, gently. Now she resisted at first, but her strength was gone. As they treated her, David knelt nearby, catching his breath. His suit was scorched. His hands were blistered. Abby smiled. She looked at him once, just once. Her silver eyes filled with something he couldn't read. Then she looked away. Kara opened her eyes to white light, soft, blurry, cold metal ceiling. Humming sound above her, she blinked. Her body ached, every joint, every bone. Something beeped beside her. She turned her head. A machine. A clear tube ran to her arm. Panic surged. She tried to sit up. Pain shot through her ribs. A medic rushed. To her side. "Careful," he said. "You've got a fractured ankle, 2 cracked ribs, and minor burns," she hissed. Where am I?" The medic smiled gently. "You're on the EU's Mercy. Human medical cruiser. Sector 9. Her face darkened. "Human ship." He nodded. "Yes, you were rescued." Kara looked down. Her arms were bandaged. She was wearing a clean patient gown. The smell of antiseptic filled the air. Too clean. Too human. Then it hit. Hers the last memory. The fire, her fall. That human. She had clung to his back. Held him like a lifeline. The shame burned hotter than the flames. "I want to leave," she said quickly. "Where are my clothes? You need rest. Where are my clothes?" Her voice cracked like glass. The medic sighed. "Commander David asked us to keep them safe. He's the one who carried you here." Her heart froze. Later that day, she sat in a wheelchair by the viewing window, arms crossed. Outside, space stretched black and endless. Stars blinked far away. She hated how beautiful it looked. Footsteps behind her. She didn't turn. Feeling better. Asked a deep voice. "David," she turned her head slightly. "I didn't ask for you." He leaned against the wall, arms folded. "I didn't come for thanks." "Then leave." "No." His tone was calm, but firm. "Not until we talk." She gave him a glare sharp enough to cut steel. "Why?" "So you can brag. Say you saved a helpless alien girl. Prove humans are better." David sighed. "You think I care about that?" "I know you're kind," she said coldly. "I know what your soldiers did to my world." He nodded. Slowly, "Yeah. Some of us were monsters, some still are, but not all." She looked away. "You think saving me makes it even?" "No, it doesn't. But it means something." Silence stretched. Long, heavy. She finally spoke, voice softer. "I never asked for your help." "I know, but when the fire came, you didn't say no either." She flinched. "I don't blame you," he added. "You were scared. I've been scared too." Kara turned to him slowly. "You, a soldier. Scared?" David smiled, faint. "I used to think being strong meant hiding fear. But real strength, it's carrying someone through fire even when your legs shake." Her eyes widened. "Slightly," he continued. "Back in the war, my brother didn't make it. Saved 3 civilians, took a hit. Burned alive. I didn't save him, but I saved you. Maybe that's something." Kara's lips parted, but no words came out. "I'll leave you now," David said. "Just wanted you to know. I don't expect anything." He walked away, boots echoing on the metal floor. Kara looked back at the stars. But this time, they looked different. Less cold. That night, she couldn't sleep. She dreamt of fire again. But this time, she wasn't alone. She was on his back, holding tight, and he never let go. She woke up sweating, breathing fast, still scared of humans. A voice whispered inside her. She shook her head, still scared of dying. The next morning, Kara called for the medic. "I need to walk," she said. "You're not ready. I don't care." With help, she stood. Weak legs, pain in every step. But she pushed forward. She found the training where soldiers exercised. David was there, punching a dummy. Sweat on his brow. Focused, she watched from the doorway. He noticed her stopped. "You look like a ghost," he said. "I feel like one," she replied. He walked toward her. "Why are you here?" She hesitated. "I need answers." "To what?" "To why you helped me. To why I'm still alive." He thought a moment, then said, "Because I couldn't walk away. Not again." Kara stared at him. "You could have let me burn." "I've seen enough ashes," David said softly. One more soul in the fire was one too many. She lowered her eyes. Something shifted between them, something silent, fragile, not trust, not yet, but maybe, the start of it. The training deck was quiet. Only the sound of heavy breaths and soft humming from the ship's core filled the space. Kara sat on a bench, legs wrapped in support braces, her body still healing. Her eyes watched David from a distance, not like before, full of hate but now full of questions. He stood shirtless, sweat dripping down his back, focused on punching the padded dummy in front of him. The scars on his body were easy to see, long, ugly ones, not fresh. Deep, old wounds that never faded. Her gaze fell on one. Jagged scar over his right shoulder, blade crooked. Almost claw dash-like. It looked like a story no one ever told. He noticed her watching and stopped. "You gonna ask, or keep staring?" he said, wiping his face with a towel. She didn't flinch. "What gave you that scar?" He tossed the towel on a rail and sat across from her. "A bombing run. When I was still stupid enough to think I was untouchable." Kara raised a brow. "You were a soldier." David nodded. "Yeah, long ago. First deployment was during the border conflicts. I was just a kid. Thought we were helping people. And were you?" she asked. He didn't answer right away. His eyes grew distant. "We thought we were, until I saw the bodies." Kara's breath hitched. He glanced at her. "The day we stormed HFY, I saw a girl, about your age. She was buried in rubble, still alive. One of my men dragged her out. We gave her water. She smiled, then blew herself up." Kara froze. She was rigged. David nodded. "Strapped with explosives. Didn't even know, maybe? They used children." Her smile. "Still in my nightmares." Kara looked down at her own hands, trembled slightly. "My mother died that way," she whispered. "Not from bombs, from gas. She covered me with her coat, said I was worth saving." David's jaw tightened. "You think I hate humans because of your face?" she said quietly. "No, I hate what you left behind." David nodded slowly. "Fair. I don't blame you. I watched my father choke, watched my brothers stop breathing. And when I cried, there were no hands to catch me." There was silence between them. Then David said something strange. "Do you know what we called your people in the war?" She looked up. "Shadows?" Kara blinked. "Why?" "Because you moved through ruins like ghosts. You hid. Survived. We never understood how. Our scanners couldn't find you. Our machines couldn't break you." She laughed just once, dryly. "Because we were already broken." David looked down. "Maybe? Or maybe you were stronger than we knew." Kara didn't speak for a long time. Then, slowly, she reached out hand, touched the scar on his shoulder. He stiffened, surprised, but didn't pull away. Her fingers traced the mark. "You carry ghosts too," she said softly. "I do. They scream at night." All the time, Kara lowered her hand. "Maybe we're not that different." David gave a small, sad smile. "No, just from different ends of the same fire." Later, Kara sat in her room, thinking. She stared at the gray ceiling of the ship, wrapped in a blanket. Her body was healing, yes, but something deeper had shifted. For the first time, she didn't feel like a prisoner on a human ship. She felt. Seen that the door chimed. She blinked. Yes. David stepped in with a tray of food. "Didn't know what you liked, so I guessed." She looked at the tray: sliced fruit, steamed grains, and one strange meatball. "Meat?" she asked. "Not from Earth," he said, quickly. "Synth protein. Safe." She took the tray. "I'll be the judge of that." He chuckled. Fair enough. He didn't leave. She didn't ask him to. They sat together, two soldiers from opposite sides, sharing food in silence. Kara nibbled the meatball. Her eyes widened. "This is actually good." David grinned. "Told you." She looked at him. "You're full of surprises, Commander. And you're full of fight, Survivor." Her lips curled slightly. The air between them grew lighter. That night, Kara didn't dream of fire. She dreamt of rain. Soft, gentle rain falling on ruined buildings, of someone holding an umbrella. Above her head, a human hand. Not to hurt, but to shield. Asterisk. The sun was just a golden memory behind the planet's dust-choked sky. Kara adjusted the breather mask on her face as she stepped out of the ship beside David. Below them stretched the ruins of another colony, this one smaller. Mostly buried, under collapsed stone and metal. It had once been her people's trading post. She hadn't wanted to come, but curiosity had become stronger than fear. "This was once your home?" David asked gently, scanning the terrain. Kara nodded. "Not my home, but I passed through here once with my mother, before the war. I remember the blue banners, and the smell of sweet dust bread." David glanced at her. "We might find something still intact. Or even ... someone." Kara didn't answer. Her eyes were scanning the broken towers. Suddenly, her head turned. That building, there it was. A storage center. If anything survived, it's there. They moved together, climbing over rubble. Birds, alien ones, black and silent, watched them from shattered windows. Wind howled like whispers through the cracks. As they stepped into the building, the floor creaked. David froze. "Careful," he said. "Scan shows hollow space beneath." Kara stepped forward anyway. The floor gave out. With a loud crash, the ground beneath them collapsed. Metal and stone crumbled like paper. They fell hard. Dust filled the air as they hit the bottom, Kara landing on her side. David rolling beside her. A long silence followed. David coughed. "Kara, I'm fine," she rasped. "I think..." He checked her. No bleeding, no broken limbs. They looked up. The hole above was high, maybe 15 feet. No ladder, no rope. David tapped his comm. "This is Commander David. We've fallen into a Can anyone read me?" Nothing but static. Kara touched her comm. "Dead down here." David stood. The underground room was dark, lit only by the faint light from above. Shelves lined the walls, most broken, but some still intact. He scanned. The area must have been a storage vault. Kara groaned and sat up. There were rumors ... that our elders hid things in secret rooms like this. Not just food or supplies, but memory crystals. David raised an eyebrow. "Records." She nodded. "Stories. Voices of the dead. They thought if they stored them underground, maybe war wouldn't erase our past." They started exploring, carefully stepping over debris. Kara's hand brushed against a cracked metal drawer. She opened it. Inside, glowing faint blue, was a single crystal orb. She gasped. David turned. "What is it?" Kara held it like it was sacred. "It's my clan's memory core. This holds the stories of 3 generations." He watched her expression shift from surprise to something like grief. She cradled it against her chest. "My father's voice is in here," she whispered. "I haven't heard it in years." David took a breath. "We'll get out, I promise." But the way out wasn't so simple. They spent an hour trying to climb the walls. David tried boosting Kara up, but even with her strength, the walls were too slick. "No grip," he muttered. "We need tools." He scanned the walls again, then noticed a side tunnel. "Wait, this might lead somewhere." Kara looked unsure. Underground tunnels aren't safe. Some collapsed during the war. Some were filled with gas. David turned on his flashlight. We don't have a choice. They walked slowly, the tunnel walls curving like ribs of a dead beast. Pipes hung loose. Every creak of the ceiling made Kara flinch. David noticed. "You okay?" She hesitated. "This place feels ... wrong. Like ghosts live here." He nodded. "They probably do. But they're not stronger than us." She gave a small, bitter laugh. "That's a human thing to say." They walked farther. Suddenly, Kara froze. "I hear something," she whispered. David stopped, listened. A faint scraping, soft clicks, like claws on stone. He raised his weapon. "We're not alone." Kara's eyes widened. There were creatures. ... During the war, born from gas leaks and mutation, they lived underground. We called them torks. They hunt in the dark, blind, but they can hear ... everything. David shut off his flashlight. Then we stay quiet. But something already knew they were there. From the shadows ahead, two red eyes blinked. Era gasped. David pulled her behind him. The creature stepped forward tall, twisted, bones showing under sickly skin. It hissed, head twitching. "David!" Aimed. Kara grabbed his arm. "No, sound will bring more." The creature sniffed the air and lunged. The mutated creature lunged, jaws wide, claws raised. David shoved Kara back and raised his weapon but didn't fire. The shot would echo through the tunnel like a scream in a cave. And Kara had warned, sound meant death. He ducked just as the beast swiped at his head. Its claw scraped metal, sending sparks into the darkness. David rolled fast, drawing a small electric baton from his belt. He jammed it into the beast's chest. A burst of blue light. A screech. It stumbled, twitching. David ran. "Go now," he yelled to Kara. They sprinted down the tunnel. Behind them, the creature gave a shriek and more answering cries echoed in the dark. David cursed under his breath. "We've got a whole nest waking up." Kara's breathing was tight. Not from fear but from memory. The sound of the torques was one she'd hoped never to hear again. Her foot hit a loose pipe. She stumbled. David caught her. "Don't stop." They turned a corner and nearly ran straight into a dead end. David swore. No way out. Kira's eyes scanned the walls. There. Vent shaft. It was barely wide enough for a human body, but it was metal and likely led upward. David helped her climb first. "I'll cover you." As she pulled herself into the vent, claws scratched around the corner. The creature reappeared, was glowing, mouth dripping black saliva. David turned and slammed the baton into its jaw, but this time it recovered fast. It leaped too fast, too close. Then Kara screamed. "David, move." She dropped back down into the tunnel, her crystal clutched in one hand, and slammed the metal shaft door into the creature's face with all her strength. It reeled back. David grabbed her arm. "You idiot. You could have. I'm not leaving you behind," she shouted. For a moment only, a heartbeat, they stood staring at each other. Then he pulled her up into the shaft. They crawled through the narrow pipe, sharp metal scraping their arms. Behind them, the creature roared, trying to follow, but the vent was too tight. Finally, after minutes of crawling, they saw light ahead. David kicked the grating open. They dropped down into a dusty storage room. Kara lay on the ground, breathing hard. "You came back," he said quietly. She looked up. "Of course I did." He sat beside her, staring at the cracked ceiling. "I thought I'd lost you down there," he admitted. She laughed once. "I thought I'd lost myself." There was silence. Then Kara reached into her pocket. Her trembling fingers held out the glowing crystal. "I nearly lost this too." David smiled. "But you didn't." She looked at him. I was wrong about. You. He raised an eyebrow. Oh, you're not a soldier anymore. David blinked. No, you're something worse, she teased. A protector, he laughed. I'll take that. She sat up slowly. When I was younger, my father used to tell me stories about a creature in the sky who could walk through fire and never burn. I thought he was just telling tales. David looked at her. I think he was talking about someone like you. Ch, she said softly. He didn't reply. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a tiny, crumpled photo. This was my family. My brother. He would have liked you. Kara took the photo gently. He looks kind. He was the best of us. She handed it back. Then maybe he's still here. Through you. For the first time, David didn't feel the scar on his shoulder. He felt something warmer in its place. Back on the surface, the rescue team finally located them through thermal tracking as the shuttle lifted off with both of them inside. Kara stared out the window. The ruined colony faded below like a dream. Beside her, David rested with his head back. Hey, she said. He opened one eye. You ever think we were meant to meet? He smiled. No, I think we just didn't let the fire take us. She smiled back. Then slowly, without words, she leaned against his shoulder, and this time she didn't pull away. The room was quiet. Dim and warm. Sierra sat cross-legged on a small medical cot aboard the Mercy, the human cruiser that had become her strange new shelter. In her hands, she held the glowing blue crystal, the memory core she'd saved from the tunnel. David sat nearby, silent, watching her with calm eyes. Are you sure you want to do this now? He asked. Kara nodded. I need to know. I've carried this weight too long. It's time I heard my father's voice again. Even if it breaks me. David didn't try to stop her. She placed the crystal on a portable translator disc. The disc lit up and hummed softly then. Like a ghost pulled from the past, a blue projection shimmered into the air, male figure. Tall, graceful, dark eyes that mirrored Kara's daughter. The recording began, voice full of warmth and sorrow. If you are seeing this, then the flames have taken our home, and I am gone. Kara's breath caught in her throat. David instinctively reached out, letting his hand rest on her arm. The voice continued. I told you stories of the stars, of other species, of humans. I told you many were kind, even if our people feared them. And I know, you never believed me. Kara's eyes widened. But if you're listening to this, my sweet child, it means you survived. It means the fire did not take everything. And if someone helped you, someone from their kind, then I was right. There is still good in the galaxy. Kara blinked away tears. Father. David remained still, quiet, respectful. You must not carry hate, Kara. The message went on. I carried it once, and it nearly destroyed me. But love, even across species, can rebuild what war burned down. The image began to flicker. I believe in you. Forgive what we lost, and live. Truly live. With that, the light faded. Silence. Sierra wiped her eyes slowly. Her voice was low, shaking. I thought I buried him. But now, I feel like he just hugged me. David gave a small smile. He sounds like the kind of father every world needs. She turned to him. He believed in peace, even when he had no reason to. And now you do, David said. Kara nodded. I don't know what comes next, but I know I don't want to run anymore. You don't have to, David replied. She looked at him longer, deeper than before. You saved me from the fire once, but this time, you pulled me out of something colder. He tilted his head. What's colder than fire? She whispered, hatred. That evening, the captain of the Mercy called David to the command deck. Kara followed him, now walking better with every step. The staff nodded respectfully as she entered, no longer treating her like an outsider. Captain Reyes, a gray-haired woman with sharp eyes, looked up. "Commander. Alien civilian." Kara spoke. "You may call me Kara. I'm not your prisoner." Reyes gave a small smirk. "Never said you were." David raised a brow. "Something happened." Reyes nodded. "Yes. We intercepted a message from a survivor. Camp on Daxon 4. They're asking for diplomatic contact with human leadership. And they requested one of their own as speaker." Kara stepped closer. "One of their own?" "Yes," Reyes said. "But they also specifically asked if the fireborn girl who walked with the human would come." Kara blinked. "They? No, I'm alive." Apparently, stories travel fast when someone runs into a tunnel full of torques to save a soldier. David smiled slightly. "You're famous." Kara looked overwhelmed. "What would they want from me?" Reyes crossed her arms. "Hope. A voice. A bridge between two worlds." Kara hesitated. "I'm not a leader." "No," David said gently. "But you're something better. You're proof." Kara turned to him. "You'll come with me." He nodded. "All the way." Hours later, Kara stood before the shuttle that would take them to Daxon-4. She wore a simple cloak, borrowed from the humans. Her memory crystal hung around her neck like a charm. In her eyes, fire still flickered. But now it was no longer the fire of anger. It was purpose, as she stepped into the ship. David followed. She turned to him as the doors closed. "Do you still have that photo of your brother?" she asked. He pulled it from his chest pocket. She smiled. "Let's make sure his death means something." David looked at her. "I think it already does," he said. The shuttle touched down on the cracked surface of Daxon-4. Dust rose around the landing gear as the engines cooled. Outside the windows, Kara could see a makeshift refugee camp, domes of scrap metal and old tents flapping in the wind. Her people. Survivors. The scars of war were still fresh here. And so were the eyes watching her. Hundreds of aliens, gray-skinned, lean, tired, stood silently. Some leaned on sticks, others held small children close. All of them stared as the ramp lowered and Kara stepped out. They didn't cheer, they didn't bow. They just watched. She had once been one of them, broken, hiding, angry. Now she walked with a human at her side. David followed a step behind her. Not leading, not commanding, just being there. Support, not control. A council elder limped forward. His robe was torn, but his eyes sharp. "You're Kara of the Irisher line," he said. "Your name survived the ash." Kara nodded. "I did too." The elder looked at David and this human. David said nothing. Kara spoke instead. "He saved me from fire. Twice. Once with his body. Once with his heart." Murmurs rose in the crowd. "You walk beside the kind that destroyed our cities," the elder warned. Kara stepped forward. "Yes, but also the kind who carried me through the flames. Who didn't ask for thanks. Who bled beside me underground and never let go." The elder frowned. "You speak as if the fire forgives." "No," she replied. "But it doesn't have to consume us forever." Kara unclipped the crystal from her neck and raised it high. "This is the voice of my father. And he says we can live again if we choose to." The crowd grew still. Then Kara placed the crystal on the ground. Activating its memory, once again, the soft blue projection of her father appeared. His voice echoed across the dust. "Daughter, if you are seeing this, it means I am gone, but you are not. Do not carry hate. Carry hope." The crowd listened. Old warriors wept. Children stared, and for the first time, the silence broke. A voice in the crowd shouted, "What do we do now?" Kara looked around. We stop waiting for the war to end. We start building what comes after. The elder nodded slowly. Then speak, child. Tell us how. Kara looked at David. Then she stepped up on a broken crate and raised her voice. Once, I was afraid of humans. I thought they were nothing but destroyers. But then one came, and he didn't hurt me. He didn't take anything. He just offered a hand. She held out her own hand now to David, without hesitation. He took it, and when the fire came again, she said, I clung to his back like a frightened child, because I realized I didn't want to burn alone anymore. Some of the crowd smiled, some cried, some turned away, but none walked off that night. The stars above Daxon 4 were clearer than Kara had ever seen. She sat near a fire pit surrounded by alien children. David sat beside her, helping a little one roast synth fruit over the flame. A young girl with wide violet eyes tugged Kara's sleeve. Is it true you used to hate the human? Kara laughed. Yes. The girl blinked. But why? Kara thought for a moment. Because I didn't know his heart. The child looked at David. What about you? Did you hate her? David smiled gently. No, I just didn't understand her. But I'm learning. Another child crawled into Kara's lap. Can we build a new home now? Kara looked at the horizon. Then she nodded. Yes, starting now. Later, alone under the stars, Kara turned to David. You know, I was ready to die in those ruins. But you didn't let me. I just kept showing up, he said. She touched his hand. That was enough. A pause. Then she whispered, You're not just the man who carried me out of fire, David. You're the reason I believe in life again. He looked at her softly, without speaking, then leaned his forehead gently to hers. No fire, no fear. Just two broken souls who chose something better. Together.